Hello there, welcome to another episode of the Allotment Dram. This is a series of short videos where we sit and talk about different whiskies, the surroundings of our North London allotment. Join me here today on what's been, well, the whole week's been a little bit grey and a little bit rainy, to be honest, and today's been the best day of the lot so far. But you know, we are at the start of October, so I've been dodging the showers today. As you can see, it's a bit grey. It's not too cold really, but yeah, dodging the showers, so fingers crossed that I can get through this video without getting rained on. But you know, what have I been doing here? Really, you know, everything's starting to sort of settle down towards winter now. We'll be planting a few things in the next week or two. I've got some onions, I've got some garlic, some shallots, some broad beans, and they all basically grow through the autumn and a bit of the winter, then go dormant and then come again in the spring. So it means that they're ready sort of slightly earlier. But while that's all very interesting, I'm sure you didn't tune in to hear about my allotment plans or what the weather's like in North London. Of course you tuned in to hear about some whiskey. And what is the allotment dram today, I hear you ask? Well, it's very exciting. Always one of our favourite times of the year, because here we have the Glenmorangie, a tale of ice cream. So this is about this time of the year, sort of every year, the new entry to the Tales series comes out from the North Highland distillery of Glenmorangie, and yeah, this is a tale of ice cream. So very excited to try it. This is actually the 5th expression in the Tales series, and what they try to do is they sort of push their sort of light, quite delicate, quite fruity spirit in different directions. So we've had Tale of Cake, which went into, you know, had some finishing in Tokai wine casks, you know, sweet wine casks. We had Tale of Winter, which was in some masala, finished in masala casks. We've had the Tale of Forest, which was mildly sort of smoked, smoky, with you know, some different sort of botanicals and so on. And then last year we had the Tale of Tokyo, which was the expression finished in some Mizunara Japanese oak casks. So yeah, pushing it in different directions. So what can I tell you about the latest, the 5th one, a tale of ice cream? Well, this one has been matured in ex-bourbon barrels to start with, and then finished in virgin American oak casks, but with virgin American oak casks that have particularly high levels of a compound called vanillin. So you can possibly guess what vanillin smells and tastes like. It's vanilla. And yeah, so this American oak and these barrels were found to have particularly high levels of this. So what they did, they lightly charred it to enhance these vanilla notes, and then left for a period of time to finish in these barrels. So it's really sort of juicing up, enhancing the notes that are already there from the old bourbon cask. So really interesting. It's been put together by Dr. Bill Lumsden, who's the director of whisky creation at Glenmorangie, and Gillian MacDonald, who's the master blender for Glenmorangie. So almost like the dream team of whisky making, really. But yeah, what else? Well, it's 46%, and it's non-chill filtered and natural colour, and it will cost you, the recommended retail price here in the UK is £76, so you know, not too naughty really. But you know, it's probably enough chat, probably what I need to tell you about the actual whisky. So I think we should pop this open and have a go. I did actually open the bottle this morning because I did a blog post, so if you're interested in reading some more detailed notes than what I give here, then check out the Whiskey for Everyone blog, and you'll find the blog post and tasting notes for a tale of ice cream. But as you can see on the packaging, all the colours are quite muted. It's basically been designed, and it's called a tale of ice cream because it's this flavour, this high sort of vanilla flavour, is very reminiscent of like flavours that you find in an old ice cream parlour. So yeah, the packaging has these sort of quite muted sort of pastel colours. The box has like a depiction of like scoops of ice cream on it. So yeah, all very nice actually. But let's have a look what we've got here. So you'll see, yeah, lovely sort of quite bright gold in terms of the colour. So very nice. Let's have a smell. Oh yeah, it's a great sweetness here. Butterscotch. There's something sort of peachy, apricot. So maybe some honey. But yeah, most of all is like fresh vanilla pods. You know, the one that you scrape the seeds out to put in a dessert or cake or something. Oh yeah, yeah, it's very enticing. There's also some sort of oaky spice under there, almost like sort of pencil shavings or freshly sawn oak. It's giving it a bit more structure rather than it being all sweet. But let's have a taste. That's got a lovely mouthfeel, quite luscious, quite rich, quite delicious actually, really good. Quite classic Glenmorangie, you know. I always think that the best Glenmorangies are matured in the old bourbon barrels, and you know, I think this is no exception actually. You've got the vanilla pod, and maybe it's quite creamy. It's almost like a sort of vanilla custard mixed with maybe some creamed coconut in there as well. There's that butterscotch from the nose, and then there's a sort of almost like sweet sort of bready sort of pastry thing. So I'm thinking like brioche bread, or maybe like some patisserie but with apricot or peach sort of within it, you know, cooked within it, and maybe some like sugar glaze or honey over the top. Yeah, absolutely delicious. Let's have another taste. Now I'm definitely getting that honey. It's almost like fresh honeycomb. If you've ever had fresh honeycomb straight from the hive, it's not just sweet, it has a slight savoury elements, you know, tending towards like Manuka honey. There's now some cinnamon and a bit more of that sort of oaky spice there. Freshly sawn oak. Quite gripping now. It's very creamy and luscious to begin with, but now getting a little bit more spicy. Just underneath there's some like a white chocolate sweetness sort of coming through, again adding to this sort of creaminess. Bit of cocoa, pinch of cocoa powder as well. But yeah, then some spices, some white pepper, there's a bit of like clove, something slightly antiseptic, very small hints like clove oil maybe, and then some like fresh gingerbread. Yeah, really really good. So yeah, very impressed with this. I mean, to be honest, we've liked the majority of the Tales series, and as I say, not just ourselves but lots of whiskey fans sort of sit and wait for this to be released each autumn. So I think a Tale of Ice Cream sits very nicely against, you know, particularly like a Tale of Cake, a Tale of Winter. You know, they're very much in this sort of like sweeter, luscious sort of vein, whereas obviously the Tale of the Forest was, you know, smoky, went in a different direction, and the Mizunara Oak Tale of Tokyo kind of went in a slightly more spicy, slightly darker direction. But yeah, this sits very nicely in the series, I think, and yeah, I think without, you know, sort of much else to say, we will leave you to get on with whatever you were doing before you found this video, and we hope you've enjoyed it. And from myself and the Glenmorangie Tale of Ice Cream, we will bid you farewell and hope to see you again soon for another Allotment Dram. Cheers. Cheers.